I got the phone call for my diagnosis on December 12th, and my physician in Las Cruces told me over the phone that I had cancer, breast cancer. And her next thing after saying that to me on the phone was, do you want me to call the surgeon or do you want to make the appointment? Directly after telling me I had cancer. I mean, there was no come to my office, no anything. And I was scared and I was crying, and I told her that she needed to make the appointment, and my next phone call was my husband. He then called my cousin here in Phoenix, and she got a hold of a friend. Dr. Cato basically took me in as a patient as a favor to my cousin's friend, and he got me in, and after that it was a whirlwind. I got diagnosed on the 12th, and I was actually having chemo on Christmas Eve. So I had my port put in, I had MRIs, I had bone scans, I had all sorts of stuff. It seemed every other day. Within the time I got out here, which was probably about a week after we called, he moved pretty quick. So he got me in and basically got me on chemo. I did 6 rounds of really strong chemo where my hair fell out. It was pretty awful. You see the TV and they're thrown up in the toilet and stuff like that. It's not that bad. It's not, for me it wasn't. I was expecting the worst, and it wasn't as bad as I thought, but my hair fell out and I got weak, and my back started hurting really bad. And so he put me on some pain medicine. First it was just Percocet, and then he, because of the severity of the pain, he had to up it to Oxycodone, or Oxycontin, I'm sorry. And I started on 20s once a day, moved to twice a day, moved to 3 times a day, and they weren't working. So he upped me to 30s. They weren't working, and then I went up to 60s. By the time it was over, I was on 60s 3 times a day. I work full time, so I would actually get up out of bed, go to work, come home, take my shoes off, climb into my bed, and sleep until the next day. And I'd do the same thing. And it was about, I would say, almost a year of that. And the pain was just getting worse and worse and worse and worse. I was debilitated. Oxycontin is not something you want to play with. It was awful. It was hard for me to function at work because I had to. And I'm a supervisor, so I had to make decisions for people. And it got to the point where I was calling my supervisor pretty much for every decision because I didn't want to make the wrong one, because I knew how drugged up I was. And making the wrong one, somebody could get hurt. All I could do is get up, crawl to work, barely, and go to bed. I mean, that's all I did. I was really out of it. My family, they were try to have a conversation with me, and I'm in la la land, going, it was awful. It was really an awful, awful feeling. But it helped with the pain. It didn't take the pain away, but it helped. The pain was debilitating, but I was laying in bed screaming. It hurt. The cancer was in my bones, so it was eating away at my spine and my pelvis. So my lower back, it was so bad. It was either one or the other. Something was going to take me out. It was that bad. So I had to ask him, I just can't live like this. And he sent me to Dr. Stern. I came over here right away. When he decided he was going to send me over here, he called and got me in the same day. So I left his office and came over here. And she wanted to do it right then. She was like, you're a great candidate for it. I'll do it right now. So I had that done. This last November was a year, so this one I'm coming on will be 2 years with my pump. And I got up out of, I had the procedure done. I got up out of the bed, got dressed, was walking out of the hospital, and my husband looked at me and said, hello. And I said, hi. And I looked at him, I'm like, what? And he goes, I haven't seen you in a while. It was that drastic. So she saved my life. I couldn't imagine living in a bed for the rest of my life. And it would have been like that had I not come here. It was remarkable. Probably within a couple of days, I felt like a new person. I mean, I got up and I was like, yes, I'm cleaning my kitchen. I'm doing things that, I just woke up and basically I asked my husband what happened here. My house had fallen apart because he was busy taking care of me. I was cleaning the kitchen. I was organizing my bathroom, like what normal people do when they come home from work, Started going to bed at a reasonable hour. I'd get up and go to work and come home and have evening time with my husband. So it really gave me a normal life. I think the process was a little off to me. I think in the beginning when I was in so much pain, and instead of trying to go to the highest level of drugs, they should have sent me to a pain specialist earlier, because I feel if this would have been done for me earlier in the process, I wouldn't have been in bed for almost a year. My life wouldn't have been taken away from me. I would have been able to continue doing everything that I wanted to do and not be so terrified at work, because, I have to work. I'm a worker. I don't want to sit at home. I don't want to sit and feel sorry for myself. I want to get out there and do my job, and I want to go out and I want to have fun. I want to live life, especially now. I don't want to give my life to cancer. That's not me. It's not, if I put a name on it or identify I have breast cancer, I don't want to be a victim. I'm a strong person. I can take care of this. I'm going to live as long as I can. I'm going to take every day and do as much as I can and enjoy life. It's surprising. I came to the conclusion that you take life for granted, and I don't anymore. I appreciate every little thing, and it's very emotional for me. I just appreciate being here, It's the little things, You don't think about that when nothing's going on in your life, You don't think about how awesome looking at a little puppy is, It's a dog, and you walk away, enjoying your family, holidays, cooking, laughing, telling jokes. And I definitely don't now. I want to be around my family as much as possible, and doing things that we want to do. Okay, cut.
Thank you.
Turn it off. It's time.